Hello, I'm Alison Parris. I'm the editor of Scrap 365 magazine. We are all familiar with wooden shapes, but did you know that Scrap 365 have actually started producing their own shape? Because we know what you like as crafters, and so I'm here today to give you some ideas as to what you can do with them. This is what we're talking about today. You can see that we have a whole variety of shapes to choose from. They're all wood laser cuts. We have seasonal, we have celebration, and we also have new designs that are constantly coming on board just to recognise the latest trends, and we would absolutely love to hear from you as to what shapes you would like to see. Because we make them all here at Scrap 365, it's very easy for us to have a chat with our designers and get the right shapes to you. Let me show you what they look like and how they actually work. The shapes are made from plywood, and you'll see that they're actually held together with little pips. All you need to do is to just pop your shape out, and then you can give it a little rub with sandpaper, or even an emery board would be absolutely perfect for that. But the beauty is you're now actually left with a stencil as well to use. The creative possibilities for these shapes and their stencils are endless, and that's really what we're going to be doing today, is giving you some ideas of how you can use this. Yes, they're beautiful in their naked form, but let's see what else we can play with. The first project that I'm going to be sharing with you today is really using the stencil. So we'll be popping all the shapes out of the capital letter stencils and then get spritzing. So here's my stencil. I have actually masked off my 12 by 12, so I'm ready to go. And we're just, you can see, already very well loved, this stencil. And let's just give it all a quick little spritz using some ink spray. Another little bit of blend out some colour. I'm just going to move it along a bit. You can see what a lovely effect that actually gives. And I don't mind that it's smudging a little bit here and there. I quite like that look. I don't want it to be perfect. Let's have a little bit of blue in here. Oh, I think it's even gone wonky, but that's fine by me. Okay. Move that out of the way so you can just see. Okay, so here's another idea while you've still got ink on your stencil, is to just turn it over. And there you have the reverse. So again, quite a nice look. Obviously a bit odd if you're using the alphabet, but it will be the same principle irrespective. And then the final little thing that I shall do with the stencil is just to get my fine liner black pen and just draw around the letters. And this will just give it another look. And of course what you could then do is use this to actually create your titles, but I just want mine to look a little bit abstract. So another little tip is using alcohol marker pens, which we all have. So I'm just giving my shape a little swish with the sandpaper, and now we'll just start. I'm just going to create like an ombre look onto this heart. So just starting off with my palest colour, and then I shall pick up the next one. Just pop a spot on. Looks a bit odd at the moment, but now if I get my paler pen and just blend in. Very on trend look at the moment, ombre. And finally, a dark colour. And again, blend that out. And you can see that the ply absorbs the colour beautifully, and as that dries, that will actually lighten in colour, and you will really see a distinctive ombre look. So here it is all in completion, and you can see where I have used the ink sprays and where I've then gone over with my fine liner pen. I've also just coloured in with a watercolour pencil, so that's another idea that you could use. And here we have the letters that was popped out from the stencil, and I've just kept those in their natural state, just so that we have a little bit of balance between all the colour. So that was great using the stencil. So now we're going to try something different, and we're going to start embossing our shapes. First off, I'm going to be working with my pointer. So I'm going to push it into a Versamark pad, but any embossing pad will do. And this really is just to show you how beautifully all of these powders do work with the wood shapes and just how well it adheres to the actual veneer. You can, of course, give it another couple of coats if you want a really glossy finish, but I quite like the wooden texture that's been left after just one coat. Right, so I think what we'll do now is make our arrow lovely and sparkly, just so that you can see, irrespective of what kind of powder you're using, the finish that you'll get is just glorious. So let's sparkle this one up. And there we are, a really super sparkly finish to your wooden arrow. Perfect. So here you can see where I've actually used embossing powders on all of my shapes. So this one, it has a glossy finish. We've got the glitter finish there. And this one, which I absolutely love, is the Wow embossing powder Puffy White. So you can see, depending on the embossing powders that you've got, you really can get a whole variety of finishes on your wood shapes. So moving on from that last project, you will have seen that I've glittered a little heart on there. Well, here I've taken it to the extreme. And not only have I used wet glitters, but I've used traditional glue and loose glitter as well, and some other little bits. But primarily what I want to show you here is just how perfectly these shapes work as stamps. All I do is take one of these little mini glue dots, and then you just want to get your shape into place so that there we are, it really is like a stamp. And you can use really well, you can use lots of things because you could use paint as well, but what I found was if I used a traditional ink pad, you will really get quite a lot of texture from your stamp. So as you can see, the wood grain is starting to really come through. So as you can see, beautiful texture. However, if you'd like a smoother look, then what you'll find is liquid ink will be the thing for you, as well as then dyeing your shape. So all you need to do is just take your lid off and pour a little bit onto your craft mat. So you don't need very much, just a little drop will do. Have some paper towel to hand. Oh, come along. There we go. And of course the beauty of the craft mat is it will just sit and puddle and not go anywhere. So just lightly dip it into your ink. So let's just now pop it onto the paper and lift. And as you can see, smoother effect. Dip it into the ink. And down. Not as defined as with an ink pad, but nevertheless, still a really lovely look. And here's another little idea. If you'd like to have a little bit of sparkle with your stamping, just get one of your mica mist sprays and give your shape a little squirt. And there we go. Lovely little sparkle. And after finishing your stamping, that's what your wooden shape's now going to look like, all ready for another project, inked and micaed. So you can see here where I've actually used my shape as a stamp, and here is my shape with the ink that had then been absorbed. Everything else has either been glittered, I've used stickles here, and I've also used liquid pearls on that one, which actually gives a super dimension. So now you have a whole host of stamps as well as having all your shapes that you can use on your projects to give dimension. So finally what we're going to be doing is mixing it up, and the last layout that I'm going to be sharing with you we'll have the stencil, we'll be foiling and just getting a little bit of bling onto our projects. For this project, because it was on black, I really wanted to give it some dimension and some lift. So what I've actually done here is not only have I used paint, but I've also used foiling. So let me show you what I did. Because I knew that I wanted to use quite a few of the stars on my project, it's much easier to do your foiling whilst they're still in situ and then actually take them out afterwards. So I'm just going to pop my glue over the area. Just smooth it out. And get my flakes. The beauty of these flakes, of course, also is that you've got all different coloured metallics. So it won't be one-dimensional like it would be if I was using the glitter glue or loose glitter. So I'm just rubbing the excess off. And finally, with my little scoochy sponge, I'm just going to get the last of the excess off, and this will also help to buff to a metallic shine. And then all you need to do after that is literally just pop them out and they're ready to go. So this time, now that I've popped my star wooden shapes out, I'm going to use it as a stencil again, but instead of spritzing through it, I'm actually going to use some glass bead gel. So I'm just going to pop some of that onto my craft sheet. But I don't want it to be white because this is my night scene and very sparkly, so I'm going to mix some silver metallic paint in with it too. And this will actually also help to loosen the texture of the glass bead gel. So there we go. That should work a treat now. So I'm just going to scoop some onto the back of my spatula. And then I can just push it through the stars. And lift it up. Lovely dimension. So to summarise here, you can see that I've got my texture and lovely dimension from that texture paste. Here I painted the letters. Again, I just gave it one coat because I like the fact that I can still see the wood grain coming through. And here are my foiled stars, which you can see really do pop off the page. And there's a little frame here that I just chose to back with a piece of paper just to finish it off. And here's one final little idea for you to get even more dimension on your projects. The beauty of these, whilst they're really sturdy and robust, they are after all wood, so they're quite easy to snap, and then you could have even more dimension on your projects. So I hope you'll agree with me that the Scrap 365 wooden shapes really are something that you need to have in your crafty stash. They're beautiful, they're versatile, and they're just a load of fun. And please don't forget, we really would love to hear what shapes you'd like. So thanks for joining me today.